Hey there everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be learning about database manipulation language, DML commands. So let's get started. DML stands for Data Manipulation Language in SQL. It is a subset of SQL, structured query language used to manipulate data stored in a database. DML commands primarily include insert, update, delete, and select. These commands allow users to interact with the data stored in the database, making SQL a powerful tool for managing and querying data. Insert is a command in SQL used to add new rows of data into a table. It allows you to specify the values for each column in the table or insert data retrieved from another table or query. Here's a basic syntax example. The syntax starts from the insert keyword into the table name, then values, and in the bracket we will enter the values of the corresponding table. Now let's look at an example to understand it better. So our task is to create this table and insert these values into the table. So let's assume that the table's name is employee. So how can we do it? Let's open an online compiler called dbfiddle. So let's first create the table. So we will write create table employees, open bracket. Now the values. The first value was ID and the data type was integer. The next column is name and the data type is string data type. So it will be varchar. The next column is age. It will be of integer type and the last value is salary. That will be integer as well. So now we are done with creating the table employees. Now it's time for inserting the values. So let's go down and then write insert into the table name, that is employees, values, open bracket. The first value will be for the ID, so it's 1. The second value was the name. The third value was the age. And the fourth value was the salary. Again, for the next record, the first value will be the ID, that is 2, the name, that is Alice, the age, that is 25, and then the salary, that is 50,000. Again, for the next value, the first value is the ID, that is 3, then the name, that is Mark, then the age, that is 30, comma, and the salary, that is 80,000. So once we press run, so we can check that we are done creating the table and inserting the values into the table. Now let's look at the select statement. Select is a command in SQL used to retrieve data from one or more tables in a database. It allows you to specify the column you want to retrieve, filter the rows based on a certain condition, and even join multiple tables together to get a comprehensive result set. Here's the basic syntax. If you want to select specific columns from the table, you will write select the column names separated by a comma from table name. But if you want to select all the columns from the table, you will write select star from table name. Now let's look at an example. Display only the ID and name column from the table employees. So if you want to do that, you will write the syntax select ID, comma name from the table, that is employees. Now coming back to dbfiddle, if you want to see the entire table, we will write select star from employees. And once we hit the run button, we can see the table that we just created before. Now, as the question is asking that we want to display only the ID and name column, instead of star, write ID, comma, name. And now when you hit the run button, you can see that it will only select the ID and name column from the entire table. Now, if you want to show the ID and name of the employees whose ID number is 2, how can we do it? In this scenario, we will use the where clause. So at the end, from after employees, write where ID is equal to 2 and then run. And you can see that it will select the ID name from employees where ID is equal to 2. Now, if you want to show all the details of the employee whose name is Mark, how can we do it? Similarly, after employees, write where name is equal to Mark and then run. And now you can see that we are getting all the details of the employee whose name is Mark. So this is how you can use the select statement with the where statement. Delete is a command in SQL used to remove one or more rows from a table based on specific criteria. It allows you to specify conditions to identify the rows you want to delete. Here's a basic syntax example. Write delete from the table name and the where condition. Now let's look at an example. Now you want to delete the record where the ID is equal to 1 in the employees table. So we will write delete from the table name, that is employees, where ID is equal to 1. So let's again go back to DB fiddle. Now before deleting the table looks like this. Now if you want to remove the record where ID is equal to 1, let's write it here. Delete from employees where ID is equal to 1. And now if we run this command, you can see that the first ID is removed from the table. So this is how you can use delete with the condition. The condition here is where ID is equal to 1. But what happens if we don't write any condition here? Like if we remove this part and if we execute this command, the entire table will be deleted. So always make sure to keep a check on the condition you want to use for deleting your records. Now let's remove this command from here. And now if we run it, we'll get back the original table. Update is a command in SQL used to modify existing data within a table. It allows you to change the values of specific columns in one or more rows based on specific conditions. Here's the basic syntax. The keyword update, the table name, set, column 1 with value 1, column 2 with value 2, and it will keep on going on depending upon the number of records you want to modify, followed by the where condition. Now let's look at an example. In the previous table, we want to update the salary of the person to 70,000 whose employee ID is 3. So the condition here is where the ID is 3. And what is the update? The update is that we want to update the salary to 70,000. So we will write update, table name, that is employees, set salary is equal to 70,000 where ID is 3. So this is the table before updating it. Now let's update the table. Write update, the table name, that is employees, set salary is equal to 70,000 where ID is equal to 3. Now once we press run, you can see the salary for the third person has changed to 70,000. And there we have it, folks. You have just completed the comprehensive guide on DML commands in SQL. From insert to update, delete and select, you have gained a solid understanding of how to manipulate data within a database like a pro. Armed with this knowledge, you are equipped to efficiently add, modify, retrieve, and delete data, making you a master of database management. Keep practicing and exploring the world of SQL, and remember, the possibilities are endless when it comes to harnessing the power of data. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and stay tuned for more exciting tutorials ahead. See you in the next one.